All right.
Nice.
We're here. We're doing it. Times are bad. Mark's homeless. He's living in his truck.
Well, yeah, coming to you live from my mobile office. I actually just texted a client for you, a referral, and she responded, "That's Alex's husband."
Who's the client?
Well, I don't know if we want to say on a recording, but uh,
Text it to me.
I wonder if shit, she could have been at. No, she knows me. I was gonna say she could have been at dinner with us the other day, but it's like we met in person, so it's not. Let's see. I asked her if she knows her from the hospital. Live, live small world stuff coming in hot here. So she says yes, she knows her from the hospital. Okay, you might get a call. She sent me her letter that she got. She says she's best friends with Sam. Uh, what a crazy experiencing happening right now on our so fun podcast for all those that may or never watch.
We're just gonna have these stored. Someone's gonna find these 100 years later and be like, "I bet these guys did a lot of business." And it's like, nope, the world never saw it.
Yeah. All right, cool. I mean, but yeah, I've been working with this lady for 6 months, doing all sorts of different things. They got some crazy stuff going on in the background. We got it all worked out. We got the refi closed. Now she sends me a picture of this insurance renewal quote, and she's like, "Whoa, these numbers are, basically astronomical. Please tell me you have someone that can help." And then I send him your information, and now all of a sudden she's name dropping everybody that I know. So I was like, okay, this is
Is it
this
a
is fun.
refinance?
It was a refi, but this is for insurance that she needs help with now. So there you go, live referral on air from the truck, parked, not moving, not driving.
Prove it.
Well, it is. See that? Well, it could be a red light, but that car's not moving.
Yeah.
Okay, what's going on in your world other than crazy high insurance renewals and whatever else you have going
I mean, they're going down depending on how you want to look at it. So, I mean, I got my home renewal. It is going down by about $300. It's simply because my deductible is being forced to a higher number.
on?
So
Yeah.
a little bit of a double-edged sword there. So deductible's going up,
Well, you
doubling,
know,
but my cost is going down. So
we've
it
been
is what it
hearing that a
is.
lot. I hear about deductibles a lot when we're doing quotes for clients on the mortgage side, and deductibles is a huge thing that's been being talked about. A lot of people be like, "Oh, we can beat that premium," and then you find out their deductible is huge, and so that brings it back to what we talked about last time, and really every other time, and probably every other time in the forward future as well, is affordability. So
Hmm.
they're drumming up new creative ways, quote unquote, to help affordability, but is it really helping? Doesn't it just come back to the same old stats of like I don't know the exact number, but a very low percentage of Americans have the ability to access 1,000 or even $500 cash in a pinch.
Yeah. Yeah. Deductible is really important. I mean, I have that conversation with clients all the time. It's like if you can afford out of pocket, six, seven, $8,000 on a bad day, then yeah, let's jack that deductible up. Let's bet that you're not gonna, need to use it long enough to where we break even. But a lot of people
Yeah.
can't,
Well,
especially in your world. You get the clients that are down payment assistance or 2-1 buy down, and like they're still at the top of their budget. If that roof gets ripped off in the first month and they can't afford, $8,000 out of pocket to replace it, you know, they're starting, 100 yards back from the starting line, and nobody told them that. So,
yeah, I mean, just really being vigilant about budgets is more important than ever. Personal finance needs to be talked about and screamed from the rooftops saying, "Hey, we've got to pay attention. Stop kicking the can." Unfortunately, if big political season right now, big debate the other day, lots of talks about recession and economic policies, good or bad, are we there, what's the deal? No matter what happens, we don't get to be like the government where we just raise our debt ceiling. So as individuals, we don't have the luxury of just creating a new gap to help us out. So personal finance, local family level things, we really need to drive that home and pay attention to what's going on, because you could get a quote from somebody on insurance, or you could get a new home build, and they quote the insurance, or not the insurance, the property tax is really low. Yeah, we'll get to that. Uh, you could quote the property tax is really low because the tax rolls just show the land, they don't show the improvement of the new house. And then 10-12 months later, you're hit with a huge shortage on your escrow account for taxes that you may not have the money to cover. So just because a loan officer, a realtor, some kind of salesperson says, we can close this for you and we can close it today, no problem, here's your numbers. Well, are those numbers at risk of going up tremendously in 12 months? Can you afford the house in a year?
Mhm.
What's your strategy? Are you going to be in this house long term? And we got to make sure that we can pay the bills for that amount of time that you want to be in the house. So there's different things you can do, property tax protesting, all these kinds of things, but it all rolls after the fact. And so you may feel good now, but then you come to renewal time, just like this client, just like you're showing there. Do not fall for a sales trick. Let's see it. Let's see it. Show the
I don't
people.
know. It might be backwards, but if you can't read
I
it,
can see it.
Allstate is telling me I should be paying only $722 for my insurance premium, which is completely false. I
Seven hundred
currently
twenty-two
pay
dollars. How often?
a year. I currently pay 3,100, and I'm licensed with Allstate. So it is a complete fabricated lie. They have the square footage wrong on that quote. And they also only have my house insured for $130 a square foot when the average is like 155, 165. So I don't know where they made this number. I posted something on my social media the other day. I got one from a farmer's agent and an Allstate agent. I'll call them out. I won't say the agent's name, but I'll say the company. Uh, two different sets of coverages in the mail, but the exact same premium down to the penny, which leads me to believe they hit generate on whatever mailing service they have, and they just sent out these numbers. Luckily, people have gotten a little bit smarter. I'll give people credit. I don't get calls quite as much from people saying, well, I got a quote from blah, 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 and it's $2,000 cheaper. And then just one follow-up question, turns out they didn't get a quote. They got a letter in the mail saying, this is what your premium should be. The elderly fall for it a lot. Uh, they like the simple touch of a letter being sent to them physically, and they fall for it quite a bit. It's a great marketing tactic, sending out the letters, but if they leave the numbers out, they get more people to trust them rather than if I call this guy, my premium is going to skyrocket to probably over $4,000 because I can quote Allstate. I have access to their platform. I know what the number is going to be. So it's just
Yeah.
hilarious. We get
Well,
them weekly.
two thoughts on that is one, if you want to talk sales strategy, prospecting for those out there that maybe be in our industry and seeing, hey, what are people doing out there to be successful? Don't forget about the old school prospecting methods. Letters do work. They wouldn't
Mhm.
send that stuff out unless it really worked, right? You still see the bandit signs on the road. You still get letters saying, hey, I will buy your house cash. I have a realtor that's been messaging me all these seller financing offers that she's been receiving just blind. And she's like, my sellers, like, I'm not sure what to do about this for my sellers. And I gave her like 5 or 6 questions to ask the guy. And then she said, boy, we stumped him good because he responded with, to be honest, I'm just an assistant. I'll have to get the actual investor to talk to you about these things. And more than likely, she'll never hear from that investor. Because if
Yeah.
you're asking questions back, they're not gonna make that sale. Because as soon as you ask questions, the people trying to take advantage of you with this bait and switch marketing don't want you to know the answers to your questions. And so, yes, the marketing works, but if you receive marketing, don't forget to go ahead and ask a couple questions and really dive in and make sure you understand the full scenario, right? That's our whole pitch as brokers for insurance mortgage is, hey, this is a total analysis here that we're looking at. We got to look at the whole picture. And so
Yeah.
are you really looking at everything? Are you getting tricked? Is it bait and switch? So that's the other flip side of the coin is it works, but also as a consumer, don't just trust things. Remember back in the old days, they used to tell you to question everything. They taught me that in school, right? Like that's what research papers are. You're just questioning something. Now here, go do this research paper. And so we have to really make sure we're telling people to ask questions. And when you talk to me, and I'm quoting you out, ask questions, try to poke holes in my argument, and then you'll know that my advice is legit.
Well, and it works. It can hurt you too, right? Not asking questions, or it goes both ways. I had a client recently. We quoted their brand new home, got their insurance under $2,000, reduced their auto insurance. Thought it was an easy done deal. Told them, hey, I have a cheaper home option, but it makes your monthly more expensive on your auto, and we're only saving you like $80. Just doesn't make sense to move and increase your monthly withdrawal from your bank account. Told them that. They stood me up on 3 follow-up calls, and then 2 weeks later, I get an email saying we went with a different option. I asked them what it was, and they told me the company, and I was like, that was also the second option I presented to you, told you about. So you saved $80 when really you could have just asked 2 follow-up questions, and we could have easily pivoted to that because I had it prepared. I just didn't think it was worth the headache. And I would have given you a long-term outlook on how both companies are affected by increases. The one company that I wanted to put them with has already taken all their increases, and they're actually reducing their rates on their auto. The other company is not reducing their rates on their auto. Their increases go through the roof. So in 12 months, you're likely going to end up paying more than what you saved on the front end. And just simple questions. You could have just negotiated with me, not even negotiate, just ask your follow up. Well, can we see the other option? Absolutely. I'm not trying to hide it from you. I told you about it.
Yeah, well,
And
that's
instead, they
the
just went somewhere else to hear a lower number.
well, but also that other person probably did a lot of promising. There's a lot of salespeople out there right now that are just trying to survive, and you can't fault them for making a sale, listening to their middle management and how they're telling them to make the sales. It's a culture of me instead of us, right? Let's take care of everybody. But it's also a culture of a short-term solutions. So
Mhm.
everyone, all these different loan programs, all these different things that have been popping up, this bait and switch marketing that I like to refer to, is to try to make you think that you're solving the problem now, but really long term, are you solving the problem? Like so many people are not going to be able to refinance right now because they don't have any equity to roll in their closing costs and they don't have the cash to pay for their closing costs. Refis cost money. People are out there saying a couple months ago, years ago, whatever, purchase with us now and you refi for free later. Bet you it's not free.
Right.
I'd like to see that closing disclosure. It might be free as in you don't have to bring any money, but they're pulling that and attaching it to the back side of the loan or whatever they're doing. And so, loan amounts matter. And you have to know if there's a whole second balance over here that they've put in the rear view, you owe that. So you just need to be aware of everything, ask some questions and really truly advise. But if that short-term solution stuff versus long-term, that's where people are going to really find themselves in trouble. And so are these salespeople because they're making sales right now. And then in a year or two, everyone's like, man, I don't think you really did me justice. Is that going to build your career? Are you going to be able to be there for the long term? Or are you always going to have to be hustling for a sale every month for the rest of your life? Like we
Yeah.
want to build a business where we can retire, and we're going to do that based on doing the right thing for people and really showing them a bigger picture. But that's a sales strategy that is out there, and a lot of people really do pitch, making sure you're taking care of your customers for long-term relationships. But nationally, locally, business-wise, government-wise, politics, everyone's always pitching these short-term solutions. And that's why we've got all this national deficit. We've got sales issues. You've got all these insurance companies that are having to do things differently, mortgage companies that have closed down because, COVID was a great example. Why is everybody closing after 2 or 3 months? You really didn't have a plan in place to survive a couple months.
Yeah.
Like that's the short term. Now like everything is fake, built on a house of cards kind of stuff. And so all this marketing follows that rule, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it all comes to a head at some point, right? Clients end up coming back. I've had clients who didn't end up going with me that 12, 18 months down the road, they're back and they're like, hey, they don't say it this way, but the vibe and the sentiment of the phone call or the email is, we were misled. So
Yeah.
you were actually right. Like, hey,
And
our
it
insurance went up
stinks.
$2,000 rather than us paying the extra $100 that you quoted.
It's
Uh,
it's it's fun being right when the clients are on board and you save everybody money and it's real easy to show them. But it really does stink when you're right and someone gets hurt because of it because they listened to somebody else that had their interest at heart and not the actual client.
right. Yeah. I mean, it takes time, right? The way we do it and the way we kind of approach things takes a while to build. But there's a lot of trust with who we end up helping, and they end up being there for a long time. You'll get repeat buyers, repeat refinancing, things like that,
Yep.
referrals, friends being sent certain ways, and
Year
so it,
over
it pays out long term.
Yep, year over year, there's always changes in our business too. I mean, we have to adjust and adapt to survive and all that kind of stuff. But what's cool is that each year we get into this, like we're going to do a Stars game for the second annual, right? I'm going to try to make it an annual thing now. And it's cool because a lot of the people that came with us last year are still on board and doing business with us because they like the way we do things. And so we're going to have a few new people as well, a few people that were there last year, maybe um, you know, bought some of the stuff that other people around town have been selling and they won't be there, but the things do change. Uh, every year, could be a different referral partner. That's my number one referral partner for that year. A couple of them are always right there at the top, but it's nice to know that our core group of people is really doing well right now.
Yeah, I mean everything's looking up. On a lighter note, obviously, I'm wearing the shirt that I'm wearing. You can see the background. Kumar Rocker with a strong start last night. Let's talk about it for just a second because we haven't talked about it yet.
15
Four
games to go.
innings, seven
I'm pretty sure
strikeouts.
I'm pretty sure there's 15 games to go, and we're 7.5 out of the division and the wild card. So there is no wiggle room left.
There isn't, but it's nice to see that we're playing the way that we had hoped.
Yeah, June, everything was about June. Like they lost like every series they played in June, and
yeah,
so, but yeah, it's nice. I mean, if you're pumped about Kumar Rocker, then you've got to be just absolute butterflies in your gut for Jacob deGrom tonight.
I'm excited.
It's like 350 days or something since his last start.
305 since his
Yeah,
last big league pitch.
16 months they said on the radio this morning. So,
Yeah.
well, but if we're gonna start talking about topical dates and times, and we got to get a little bit more organized on the back end and get these videos up.
It's whatever. Like, well, the podcast we do watch, are like, when does this come out? And they're like, sometime in December. And it's like, I'll be
Yeah,
in Christmas time. I'll be in Albuquerque.
yeah, yeah.
If you guys see this, you know, happy,
Well,
happy, happy Thanksgiving.
all right. So I'm in the car today because this is the life of someone in the real estate mortgage biz. Is sometimes your office is wherever you're going next. So anything else that people need to know about where we stand here on September Friday the 13th?
It is Friday the 13th. I just realized that. Tomorrow's Mexican Independence Day, so celebrate accordingly. It's not Cinco de Mayo.
Uh-oh.
Newsflash. I don't know how many people are going to learn that watching this.
You stirring
Uh,
up some controversy right now?
it is actually Mexican Independence Day. Everybody thinks it's Cinco de Mayo. No, but I mean, everything looks like it's
You got a you
trending in
got
the
a
right.
you got a brief history. Who independence from whom?
No clue.
No,
As
come
far as
on.
that's as far as we go. Not gonna make something up. We
All
we
right.
won our independence from the Native Americans. I don't know. Whoever you want it
You're
to be,
gotta be gotta be Spain, right?
either Spain or France.
Well,
One of the two.
we'll report back next week. There's probably a
Yeah,
couple ways we could look that up.
we'll have an update. We have Google, but no, everything's trending in the right way. You oddly feel optimistic or seem optimistic lately, which I don't know if I should be worried about or not. Um,
Well, we'll
so
see. I mean, I don't think the election is going to really affect rates and stuff. I think the Fed's
I
going
don't
to
think
kind
it
of do
will.
what the Fed does, but at the same time, it's the policy that could really change and go one way or another. And whether they start using terms like recession to describe what's going on, all that kind of stuff will matter. But I think that the resiliency has been there. But what I'm worried about is spending. But as far as rates and volume and stuff going on in our market locally, especially here in DFW, there's still good action out there and money to be made. So I think the market's going to hold tight. I listened to an economist the other day, and he's like, if you ever start seeing bad things happening here, and like you see these national drops happen here in DFW, then you can start screaming out loud for help. But
Yeah,
we have been so resilient in DFW, even through all the bad times, '08, COVID, things like that. We held strong when other markets didn't. So we're doing pretty good. But that's another thing that really matters is if you're getting marketing pieces from someone out of state, they may not know what they're talking about. They may be sending that same thing to somebody in Michigan who has totally different prices and weather patterns and all this other crap that gets in the
exactly.
way. So no, having people in your corner locally is a big deal. And I've had a couple realtor conversations lately, and they're like, "Well, I like this, and this because they're local." I'm like, "Perfect. I'm like 10 minutes from you, so let's hang out."
Yeah, I'm in your driveway.
Yeah, yeah. Funny you say that. That's actually me waving at your window. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I see you right there.
Yeah.
So cool. Well, let's. I guess for next time we want to keep focusing on well, by the next time we talk, it'll be Fed decision will have come out next Wednesday. So
You'll
they'll
have
they'll
some
make the
updates.
they'll make the cut official. How much of a cut is what everyone's waiting for now? Is the market priced it incorrectly, or is the market going to bounce back up a little higher because they priced in too aggressively? That is
Hmm.
something that could happen. So just kind of watching things, and we're getting to the nitty gritty here, into the closer into the. Are we in the fourth quarter? No, close. Um,
Close.
yeah, we're in the fourth quarter basically, and it's going to be a sprint to the end of the year.
Yep.
So anybody got any questions, obviously hit us up. Talk to us about any topics we can help and what we might want to cover. Hopefully, at least one person watches this video, and if not, we'll do better on the next one.
We'll get these posted at some point.
All
So.
right, peace.